Hi, my name is Renee Rizzo. This will be a teacher-facing video which will guide you through my adaptation of Passport to Social Studies Grade 8, Unit 2, Days 7 to 8. I chose to adapt this lesson, although I teach high school students in alternate assessment settings, because Passport to Social Studies also focuses on U.S. history at the 11th grade level. There are relevant lessons in the 4th, 7th, and 8th grade Passport to Social Studies curriculum that address U.S. history at a level that is often more developmentally appropriate and accessible for students in alternate assessment settings. In this video, I will be using Nearpod and demonstrating various features it offers to make lessons more immersive and engaging. I will also show you 3 differentiated levels of assessment for this lesson, which I created using Google Forms. So this is a student preview of the lesson. The Immigrant Experience. I incorporated in the background an image from the original Passport to Social Studies lesson, which I thought was a really good image for this lesson. Um, Focus question. What were the experiences of immigrants in America? Lesson objective. Compare and contrast immigrant experiences in order to evaluate the degree to which the United States lived up to the dreams of the new immigrants. Next Gen ELA standard for grade 11. Integrate information from diverse sources, both primary and secondary, into a coherent understanding of an idea or event, noting discrepancies among sources. NICE DLM essential element. Compare and contrast arguments made by two different texts on the same topic. DLM linkage levels. Initial precursor recognizes that what he or she is thinking or viewing may or may not be the same as what other people see or think. Distal precursor can determine the details used to defend a claim in a text. Proximal precursor can determine the specific evidence used to support a claim regarding either an informational or literary text or the topic of a presentation. Target can compare and contrast the arguments and the supporting claims, reasons, and evidence made by authors of two different informational texts on the same topic. Successor can use the similarities and differences in the purpose the authors have for writing different informational texts on the same topic to compare and contrast them. The New Colossus. The following excerpt is from the poem The New Colossus by Emma Lazarus. It is inscribed on the base of the Statue of Liberty. I opted to, instead of using the original poem from the lesson, to use a YouTube video which has supporting images because images often make content more accessible for students in alternate assessment settings. So this video is chock full of images of immigrants coming to this country at that time and um, other images embedded throughout the video that help support comprehension. So the lesson also then asks students if they have ever went to the Statue of Liberty and how they felt going there. So there is actually virtual reality field trips offered within Nearpod. It's just so you can feel like you are actually there. So if students have never been, they could kind of take a virtual visit to the Statue of Liberty. They could see how large it is. They could see how people in the environment are reacting to it, what people are doing in front of it, that it's a major tourist attraction, obviously. And there are other locations and landmarks that virtual field trips are offered for in Nearpod. So that's a nice little feature to incorporate for both blended and remote learning. You can also ask open-ended questions. So I asked, does this poem seem familiar to you? And what was your experience of the Statue of Liberty like? Students have the option to record audio for these answers. So this is really good for our non-writers or our students who are not typers. Introduction model. The Statue of Liberty became a symbol of freedom and promise for many immigrants arriving in the United States. The inscription on space, taken from the last 4 lines of the famous poem The New Colossus by Emma Lazarus, came to represent the American ideal of freedom and liberty. However, every immigrant group experienced the United States differently. For many immigrants to the United States, their actual experiences were different from those expressed in the poem. A historian might ask the question, did America live up to the expectations of new immigrants? This was taken directly from the original lesson in the Teach Hub. I then incorporate polls through Nearpod. How did seeing the Statue of Liberty and listening to the poem make you feel happy or sad? Students can compare their feelings to the feelings of their classmates. Ellis Island. This is taken directly from the original lesson as well, the images and the words. Ellis Island was the first stop in America for many immigrants. More than 12 million people sailed into New York Harbor, past the Statue of Liberty and her welcoming words from Emma Lazarus, and continued through to Ellis Island Immigration Station. It is believed that over 40% of current Americans have family members with a history that includes Ellis Island. Angel Island, also taken directly from the original lesson. Now we will read a poem that portrays the point of view of a Chinese immigrant on Angel Island. Immigrants to the western part of the United States usually entered at Angel Island. Like Ellis Island, it served as a detention center for immigrants waiting for admission and for those who were awaiting deportation. At Angel Island, some of the Chinese and Japanese detainees wrote poems on the walls of the wooden barracks. These poems recorded their feelings about their voyage, their longing for home, and their forced stay on the island. I used to admire the land of the flowery flag as a country of abundance. I immediately raised money and started my journey. For over a month, I have experienced enough winds and waves. Now, on an extended sojourn in jail, I am subject to the ordeals of prison life. I look up and see Oakland so close by. I wish to go back to my motherland to carry the farmer's hoe. Discontent fills my belly, and it is difficult for me to sleep. I just write these few lines to express what is on my mind. I include another poll to check in. As a new immigrant to America, if you read that poem inscribed on a wall, how would you feel about the future? Hopeful or worried? So, next, I'm going to take you through the 3 levels of assessment that I created to go with this lesson. So, starting with level 1, what kind of emotion did the Emma Lazarus poem, The New Colossus, convey? Hope or worry? And I included images from a website called unsplash.com where you could get copyright free images, royalty free images to use. And what kind of emotion did the Angel Island poem convey? Hope or worry? For level 2, based on the poem The New Colossus by Emma Lazarus, what can you infer the overall immigrant experience at Ellis Island was like? It was a hopeful experience or it was a depressing experience? And then I ask the same question based on the Angel Island poem. Students choose between full sentences and they no longer have the support of the pictures. And level 3, which is open-ended questions. How do you think an immigrant arriving at Ellis Island, seeing the Statue of Liberty, and reading the poem The New Colossus by Emma Lazarus would feel, and why? And how do you think an immigrant arriving at Angel Island and reading the poem etched on the wall by a detainee would feel, and why? So just for a quick review, we went over a Nearpod lesson adapted for students in alternate assessment settings, and we went over 3 levels of differentiated assessments, which I created in Google Forms. Thank you for watching.